And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. Thank you, and welcome back.
We back?
Yep. So everybody that is listening, we appreciate you listening. I checked the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
We have 6.
Hey.
I need that to be 60 or 600, but we got 6. So if you're listening on audio, whatever app you're using to listen to this podcast, be sure to give us a rating. Be sure to listen more than 30 seconds, right? So make sure you're ready to listen to this podcast whenever you turn it on. And if you want to see the video portion, be sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel, Wordplay TJ, on YouTube. And yeah, watch that. You can watch anime plots over at Icarus Gray's channel. That's youtube.com/Icarus Gray. Am I right?
It should be.
It will be eventually.
Working on it.
If it's not, we'll fix it. So whatever's. The link is down in the description, so it's fine. Outside of that, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also join our Patreon for at least $1 a month. So Underdog Tryouts is $1, only for the underdogs, and we have some exclusive things, right? Some digital downloads, some behind-the-scenes content, and as you upgrade, you'll get exclusive merch from us. Don't have anybody in those categories yet, so I haven't made any merch, and I hate to be in a situation where I make something first and then and get it.
But if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I'm not in that. That mood. I don't have time to build things. That's the problem. Is I need an assistant.
This isn't a field of dreams.
Mm-hmm. So shout out everybody that's already a patron, and thank you for your love and support. And let's continue to build upon that patronage so we can grow this podcast, grow this show, grow this channel, and continue to build upon the business of On The Map Music Group.
Yeah, man. 11K TJ.
Yep. Got a comment about any of the topics we discussed today? Be sure to email us, nrorpodcast@gmail.com. Also, send us your problems. We want to start this new segment called Unwanted Advice. And so we haven't gotten any emails yet. And I want to give some unwanted advice to people.
Oh, man. I think I'm gonna do like
hilarious.
a blast on Facebook or something. We're gonna get something this week.
Yeah, I might get somebody divorced. Anyway, we're trying to get an audience survey, understand the demographics of this audience. So be sure to check that link down in the description.
Yeah.
And fill out that survey. It's really, really quick, really easy to do. And we just want to make sure that the data is going out. We got hundreds of downloads per month at this moment. We just want to build upon that. We want to give you the best content that we can give you. I know we switch up the format every once in a while, and that can be kind of nerve-wracking for people that have been listening for a long time. But at the same time, we're just trying to experiment, see what sticks, see what doesn't stick, and make it right. So once we have a system in place, we'll be able to move in that direction.
And I think we are definitely the most efficient we've been. So just, help us be even more efficient.
Yeah, please do. And let's get to the first topic. You fudged the volume, but
I did. Right. One more time, guys. Listen to this. Yeah.
That was one take.
Yeah.
I did it one time, and then I started mixing and messing around with the effects and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, that is perfect. And I found that guitar from YouTube. So I didn't have to do much work on that one outside of say, Gamer Bros. That's exactly how I said it.
It's amazing.
So
Like, we got a whole segment. So as you can see, your eyes are not playing you. This is the same image, but now you're getting my impressions.
so first impressions of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh yeah, You know what's funny?
Or Arceus. One of my students came up to me and was like, Mr. Johnson, it's not Arceus. Because Arce in the UK is ass. And I was like, whoa, language. And then and then I was like,
Arceus.
I was like, thank you for correcting me. And then he continued to want to show me what he caught on Pokemon Go. He was really enthusiastic about it. But I had to start class. So I was just like, go sit down, my dude.
So last week you were explaining to me that it like brought you back to when we got Red and Blue, and I have to agree. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm gonna go a step further. Like, this is the best Pokemon game I've ever played. Period.
Hands down. I think this is what we wanted, right? Which is
100%.
which has been said millions of times since we've been discussing this game.
Yes.
And on top of that, it's an experience that challenges you
Yes.
as a player, and we've been asking for a challenge from the Pokemon Company for
years.
I think after Generation 3. You think?
Yeah, probably around Generation 3, because at that point there were like a lot of quality of life, quote unquote, changes.
Yeah, some people say Gen 2 is their favorite gen, and then it starts to go downhill from there.
Yeah. But there's so much in this game that makes sense, that makes it feel good, that makes the UI great. Like, to have actual side quests in Pokemon, not just, is there a trading person? Like, because I
Yeah.
feel like those were the only real side questy things you could do. And they were like, finding the legendaries or completing the Pokedex.
Yeah.
But like, this feels like what the game was inspired by to be.
There's a lot to do. And I've spent so much time on it that I'm realizing that I need to pull back because I want to mix records, I want to make records and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was.
And I've just been using it as a way to unwind. And I actually do not want to finish this game at all.
Well, here's the longer portion of what would take forever to finish the game, which is something I appreciate. And good God, I did it again. I'm all the way up on this camera.
Get close.
Woo! Sorry, guys. I know you got to look at this mug.
Get loose.
There's a complete Pokedex, and then there's a perfect Pokedex.
Meaning,
you get complete at 10. You get perfect for filling everything out. And when you get perfect, it increases your shiny hunting chances.
okay, cool.
And that, I believe, is how you get the shiny charm.
Yeah, so basically it is catch 'em all, right?
Yes.
It's catch and release, really.
Catch them all, observe them all.
Because you don't have a lot of space.
The crafting system. Like, there are so many things in this game that I'm like, this is needed. I literally lost my mind just being able to walk up like a high, steep cliff by myself before getting any, weird deer or anything. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because in our lifetime, if you pop down a hill that clearly you jumped over, it was really quick, you turned around, and now you're bumping up against it, and it does not make sense. Like, it just, if you...
getting back up a hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3D environment is definitely different in this situation, right?
And it's fun. You know, the wild area in Sword and Shield got boring at some point. There wasn't a whole lot that was exciting about it. And mostly because they were trying to like do this mix, this weird mix that we didn't ask for, which was still having the random encounters in the grass. And then there's Pokemon that you had to find there. Like, knowing that all the Pokemon are on the field, you can find them. You know, they're in different areas, different
Right.
times
So
of
there's no
day.
hidden creatures, right?
No.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about where you explore. There's a moon cycle. Like, for every 2 nights that you sleep, it's a different portion of the moon cycle. So, you know, from full to crescent or whatever. I mean, there's other words, but I should know all of this. But anyway, I'm just, I'm elated to play the game. I need to make it my relaxation because I was so far behind people for 2 days. I like have been grinding, losing sleep because I'll get like on a request or I go out and I'm wanting to like catch all the Pokemon in the area. You get it, you quell one of the lords, and then you have to go back to all the places that you couldn't reach.
One of the lords. That's funny.
And I don't think I've ever had this much fun playing a Pokemon game, like ever. Like, I was excited about Sun and Moon, and we did a whole thing on that because I think that was the first time in a long time that you and I both were going to get to start a new generation of Pokemon and kind of experience what was going on. It was the first time you got what they're using now, which is the Ride Pokemon system.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. Also, the other part about it is the Pokedex being a key in telling you how to evolve certain Pokemon is amazing. I'm not even gonna give them spoilers. It's just there are certain Pokemon that if you're like, well, how do I get this
Yeah.
in the Pokedex?
Yeah.
And
Well, it's best to just like I don't even like watching the tutorials, right? I
Right.
don't like watching the tips and tricks and all that other stuff because I really want this to be a situation where I'm discovering how to do things. And yeah, even so those situations are spoilers in a lot of ways.
yeah, I had some that I know that I definitely had to check out because I know I want to complete the decks, and I'm already catching everything anyway. So it's not like I was ever missing too many. It would just be like, okay, I would finish an area. I would know that I've caught everything that's potentially around here. How do I get this? You know, how does this work? Because I know that there's something weird. Like, and I am going to do one minor.
Like weirder.
Very weird. Like, very weird eared. Weird eared.
Huh?
Deered.
Anyway, we need a drum. Ba-dum-bum.
We do need that for when we're being corny. That's what I was thinking for the static noise that came from another sound.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Like,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
dead air. But the one spoiler I'm gonna do because it's so weird. So if you want a Basque-Legion, and this is the weirdest thing in the world, you have to use either wave pulse or wave rush or something like that, or double edge. That I know,
Right,
double
you have
edge.
to take some recoil damage.
294 to 300 hit points of recoil damage, not just in one battle, because that's where I got confused. It
Cumulative.
was taking a while, like cumulative, and like that is the weirdest evolution in the world. That's weird. Like, I don't even
But
know.
it's novel, right? So we kind of need that type
Yeah.
of change.
Like, I don't even know how you would. I think I kind of know how you would stumble across it, because wave pulse is one of those moves that. Oh,
I would have
The
missed
moves.
it because I don't like recoil damage moves.
I don't either. Like,
It-
I hate Brave Bird. It's a great attack. Don't get me wrong.
But I'd rather use aerial ace, right? So in that situation, like aerial ace is just as effective, doesn't do recoil damage, and never misses. So like, why not?
The move system, the best. Like, the only thing I hate though
Is how
the-
weak my Decidueye is. Yo, that 4 times damage, like even Arcanine now and Growlithe has a 4 times damage situation
Jesus,
to water now.
everything.
Right, and so
Okay, so I can't. But Typhlosion also has a thing because you lose your thing.
what do you mean?
You're typing
What do you mean by that?
because your original typing in the other game is a thing, and I have it.
Oh, ghosts.
Yeah.
Yes, just say it.
Well, I'm trying not to give away the. Well, I guess
No,
it
it's
does give
out
away
now.
what they look like, but anyway, it's
They'll
out.
be alright.
So the fact that I have Ghost and being like, I was not even aware in my brain until I was fighting like Ghastlies at night, and I'm like,
And then you
why
get
is
your
Hex
ass
kicking me butt?
Oh, okay.
Kicking me butt. Like, generally so bad. But I do wish that when you unlocked moves that it would just stay unlocked for all the Pokemon, but that would be too RPG.
What do you mean?
So, when you can go and buy new moves, which is another
Right.
amazing thing.
Yeah,
that's
you don't have
for-
to go get TMs and stuff like
But
that.
it's for that Pokemon. And you get to change the moves, which is
I like that mechanic.
The
that you can mix and match moves. So if I run out of PP in the middle of something, then I can just swap some moves.
I didn't even think about that. That is that is a new discovery.
Some backup moves, right?
But like you have backup moves, but also the fact that a Pokemon would not forget, like it does not make sense for it to only know 4 moves.
Yeah. My thing is, my biggest gripe with this is the room for items. Because when you beat somebody, you collect items.
Yeah.
And when you're navigating the board, you collect items. And then it's expensive to expand you only get 1 slot, and it costs eventually it costs like $4,000 to get an extra slot.
Oh, you're at 4?
And it keeps going up. What are you at? Like 10,000 now?
Bro, it's like 15.
Why?
Because I just be like, every time I go and I like clear area and I go and catch, 10 alphas or whatever the case may be, I run my money up. Continuously, here's something that they also don't tell you, another mechanic that I love.
The XP
The XP is amazing.
it's really nice to sell that shit.
Oh, yeah. I never sell those.
I sell those.
I'm hoarding the crap. But here's why you shouldn't. So you've run into the space-time distortions, yeah?
Yeah.
So, if you did not know to go to the crafting guy and buy the crafting recipes, my thing is when a space-time distortion, like I'll wait around, get on Weird Deer. When one comes, I run around and grab all the shards, all the star pieces. Don't sell your star pieces, which is something I didn't realize, because you have a crafting recipe, or don't sell your stardust to make star pieces. So for every time you have a space-time distortion, you run in there, grab all the shards, all the items,
Yeah.
and then you sell that, and you end up with because there's 5,000 a pop. Nuggets pop up in the space-time distortion. That's 10,000 a pop.
5,000 for the nuggets.
Nuggets are 10. Nuggets are 10. Star pieces are 5.
Well, maybe I missed it.
I intrinsically remember this because literally, I promise you, I'm a money hunter. And the other thing is, you get so many evolution stones. I can also sell those. And so that's how I end up buying all these things. But that is such a cool system. Another thing of the crafting recipes, I'm really enjoying the fact that I don't have all the inventory space, because it does make you think about what would I be going out to the field to survey with.
And what can you actually carry in this tiny ass satchel?
Yeah. And what would I actually have on me? Oh, the best part, because there are so many different things.
Awaken
and
up.
this is the last part I'm going to talk about, because we got to get to other stuff.
Folgers in your cup.
And we'll come back to it probably like at least one more week because I'll probably be finished with the game by
This
the end of the week.
episode is not sponsored by Focus.
No. I wish it was though. Give us some of that breakfast blend, bruh. Is the fact that they explain the sizing differences in Pokemon. Like they can call it plot armor or whatever the case may be, but the fact that in the beginning they're explaining the Pokeballs and they're like, Pokemon choose to be that size or something like that. I think he said. I can't remember
Well, they
because it was like
shrink
at the
down
beginning.
they have the ability to shrink.
Yeah, and like that made more sense because they actually gave an explanation. Because we've seen a million times like people make the joke about what Pikachu does in his Pokeball, and then knowing that they like kind of choose their sizes, it kind of makes. I remember looking at Machoke using bulk up,
Yeah.
and I was like, cool. Like it can make sense. It makes sense within an evolution or a narrative or however it fits within the universe. And there's so many things that they did in this game to basically make it more authentic. And I'm just appreciative that I have this game and I'm going to keep playing cause I'm addicted. Like it's bad.
I'm addicted to you.
It's bad.
All right.
So let's get to our self-help news of the day. And the reason all of these things are inspired in a certain way, but getting organized because you are the most organized person I know.
Am I?
You are. And I wanted you to kind of give some tips because you have a lot of different levels of organization. So you have our Monday.com. Somebody who else should be a sponsor.
Yeah. Monday is nice.
But that you have, we have our notes system. You have the video editing system. Like the systems that you have in place are so user friendly that organization on top of everything that we've been working on in terms of these topics for the top of the year for self-help. I think that getting organized is something that's important. I struggle with it, obviously. But the reason I'm not the worst and I'm not just trashing at the bottom is because of systems that you have in place. And it just makes it easy because then you just get up and it's like 1, 2, 3. Like a lot of things I learned, whether it's video editing, whether it's audio editing, Photoshop, everything that I've been taught was from you in an easy way.
So getting organized, I'll start with why I am the way I am, right? So as a kid, I would procrastinate a lot. And it was really difficult for me. It was really difficult for me to not procrastinate when I got home. I barely even started.
I know. That is the only. That's why I want to start early with it. Oh, let me get out of your frame. My elbow was in the frame.
Get your elbow out of my frame. So I would procrastinate as a kid, and then it would take me forever to do my homework. And so because it would take me forever to do my homework, I was just like not in a space where I needed to be efficient. And because I wanted to be efficient, I started to build systems that kept me organized. And looking at workflow, right? So keeping my workflow organized is what helps me not procrastinate when it's time to sit down and do work. So I can walk into my office, know where everything is, write a list, and just say, I got to do this today. It helps me stay focused because I'm not distracted by hunting things down. And that's a great feeling to have. Other people express that like when they clean their space, they have some of that freedom to like actually sit down and work and stay focused. It's the same situation. You're organizing and you're getting things put together so you don't have to like overthink the rest of your process.
I've talked about that with cooking because I was talking about
Yeah, mise en place, right?
Yes. Yes.
Everything's in its place.
Why did you took me right back to culinary school? The thing about it that I want in my house that I was talking about, I was like, when you work in a restaurant, you immediately want those things at your house.
Right.
Like
Containers, organized, like
the industrial dishwasher that's super quick,
Yeah.
but it like all flows. Like I turn here, this is where I put my plates. This is where I put my, I can cook this over here. I clean it this way. The cleaning portion is right here.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our modern kitchens, not that they're not organized properly, but when you get the organization to me of like a restaurant, it's
They're not
hard
set
to
up
like
for
go
efficiency.
home.
Right?
No.
They're set up for regular usage, which is
Yeah.
slow and in a restaurant you have to be fast. You have
Yeah.
to be efficient. And so I just treat everything like a restaurant.
Right.
Like as a work system. So as a working system, how can I set up the people that I work with for success and be the best that they can be
Right.
by building systems. That's usually my mentality.
I just want to be like, I think that is the place where I'm the most organized because I've explained before to others that like when I'm cooking for somebody, I want everything to come out hot because that's what I'm used to doing. If I'm in a restaurant, like if I'm putting these flavor palettes and stuff together, like I made a fake poutine the other day. And what
What was fake about it?
Well, there was no cheese curds in it.
Oh, got it.
So that wasn't like, it was really like a locomoco with fries is pretty much what it ended up being.
Oh, okay. That sounds delicious.
Oh, it's fire. Listen, I got you. One of these days, I will when all of this stuff calms down, 20,000 years from now, I'm gonna cook stuff for y'all.
Oh, we're in an endemic. This shit ain't going away.
Yeah, I know. But eventually,
Sorry for those out there. Bummer alert.
When it's manageable, I should say. When we're all taking Flintstone COVID vitamins.
What? How?
Watch.
How?
Mark it down.
They just dissolve. You're
Just
like, I think I'm gonna get my COVID vitamin this morning. Yum.
Write it down. I guarantee.
Is
Shout
your
out to-
Flintstone kid for COVID?
for COVID. Watch. Because listen, I guarantee you there were people in the 90s that never thought we would have commercials that are like, so do you have AIDS?
Whoa.
Take this pill. AIDS isn't like, bruh.
You went to AIDS.
But that's the YouTube thing. Like, YouTube has been pumping these, whatever this AIDS pill commercial is, like, so much.
The question is, what demographic do they think you are that you need the AIDS?
Bruh. Good question. I'm not that. I've been married for almost 5 years now.
Oh my gosh.
And even then, I was not out here playing the field. There were not home runs going on a lot in my life. I was not. Oh, I almost said some names, but anyway.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't say
My
nothing.
wife says the same thing about me, and it's like, you don't know.
She might not.
I'm not out here in these streets. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you're married. Yes, you're not out here.
I'm at
Did you
any
meant
point
prior?
in time. At any point in time, I was just not out here slaying. You know,
You were just on Dixon giving.
I don't go there. What are we doing?
I don't know. That just sounded funny. I had to do the wordplay.
I just wasn't out here. I wasn't.
Let's organize ourselves.
My count is not even that high. 3.
You
No, I said I hit the mic 3 times.
Oh, man. Listen, we was about to have a roll down fight in here. I was like, oh, your whole count is 3?
A whole count.
I mean, you know.
I was in relationships for most of the time.
You were. You were serial monogamous.
Yeah.
As am I.
That's the perception that is put against me, is that I wasn't like tied down most of the time. Like I was just out here.
No.
Like I was just out here just slinging it left and right. And
No.
You can get some D. You can get some D. I'm like D Oprah.
You are D Oprah.
I'm not D Oprah.
Oh wait, no. I mean like
What are you
Stedman.
talking about?
I mean like Stedman has been there for forever. He ain't go
No, not like
nowhere. Nowhere.
I get it, but
Yeah, like I meant it from her, from her as a person perspective, not from giving out the cards.
I get it. I'm just saying, like I'm not
2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah, just don't repeat my words and
Organize. Because I didn't
to
even
describe it.
Yeah, good point. Let's organize this.
Oh my gosh.
All right, but yeah,
Took me down this rabbit hole.
I did, but get organized, guys.
Yeah. Any lasting thoughts about being organized?
Yeah, just this is something to help. However you get organized is whatever it is, do it. Because if you're going to remain focused, if you're going to keep like not making New Year's resolutions, organization helps. Whatever it is you do, it does not mean you have to be like, so overly meticulous, but you have to have some form of organization. And it can't always just be the teenage boy in his room that like, I know where I left this dirty shirt.
Even just organizing your thoughts, right? So a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago, we talked about having our daily goals, right? So I have a little notebook I got for like a couple bucks.
Handy dandy
on
notebook
on on Amazon. I keep it in my pocket, which is why it's so bent up. But you can see that I use it, right? So today there's no rhyme or reason. There is music advice, a consult. I gotta edit some stuff. I gotta share my music video, lesson plan. I gotta mix some music live. So like all of that stuff is on my list. And
I need to give me one of them.
If I don't hit this list, I'm not gonna shame myself for it, right? So there's days where I don't get everything off, and that's cool. That's what he said. And and that's just,
I'm adding it to the board.
That's what he said.
Michael Scott is coming to the board.
Okay.
It's gonna be that's what she said, but because I don't.
Word.
Does he do? He does do that.
Yeah, but
for Oscar on some episode, I'm sure.
Yeah, but anyway, like he does it a lot in that series. But anyway,
no, I'm saying that's what he said, like as a flip, because I think I'm pretty sure he does it somewhere.
But anyway, it's important to get your thoughts organized, get your space organized, get your workflow organized.
Not just Twitter Spaces. So
you can just jump right into it, right? If you kind of have to continue to start over and over again, which is why we have so many templates for the things that we do. We have a template for our separate channels. We have a template for No Rhyme or Reason. We have a workflow space in Google Drive for all of our stuff. So like we are hyper organized, so we don't have to we don't have to think more while we're working, and that keeps everything great.
And it's easier to it's kind of like Legos because it gives you building blocks to continue. So like anything new that we start, there's always something I can build from. That's it. Both of us are too prepared for it. Now that it's on the board, preparation.
Try not to have that.
I stuttered through that. Not you glitching.
All right, let's get to the sponsor. This episode is sponsored by me. And music advice. If you're a musician who needs to understand how to maximize your music business, book a 101 consultation with Wordplay TJ, myself, where I can give you a custom plan for getting your music together. Use the link down in the description, wordplaytj.com/rise, and the promo code BOOK20, that's BOOK20, for 20% off of the consultation fee. And Get your console today.
Get yourself organized, yo.
Word. That was really good.
It was.
I'm pleased with myself.
One take TJ.
Now it's time for.
All right. So we're debuting some things, guys. Here we go. Time to guess whether or not Wordplay TJ.
This is not game show music.
Anime Plats. Let's do this. Time to guess whether or not Wordplay TJ can guess these anime plots. He gets one image to make it drop. I give him a sound if he gets it right or not. That's how the game works. That's how the game works. Started with a song.
This part is hilarious. That's how the game works.
And see what happens. Let's see what happens, y'all. And cause I'm not very skilled with fading and stuff. There's probably going to be an abrupt stop somewhere. Probably right about here.
Oh my gosh.
I turned it down too much.
Look, man.
Yo.
I trusted you, and I trusted you too much.
Oh my God. Listen. Listen.
Do people even understand what anime plots is?
I don't know. I hope.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Oh my God.
Look, man.
In case my theme song wasn't clear, I show him an image of anime, and he has to tell me what it's about. And then I play sounds if he gets it right or if he doesn't. But as of next week, I'm just going to tell him whether or not he gets it right. And I'm going to make a new song for you guys because I think surprising TJ.
You spent a lot of time on that.
I did not. I spent about as much time on it as you probably spent making Gamer Bros. Because as soon as I got the idea, as soon as I got the idea, it was pretty much done in that amount of time. Once I got everything set up, set up probably took more time than trying to record it and finally get what I wanted to do joke wise.
Word.
All right. So now that that's done, all right. So the picture you have in front of you, Terraformers is the name of it.
Okay. So you got Terraformers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got the tick in the middle. It's like black tick, in the middle. We have the earth down in the bottom middle. We got some guy that looks like the professor dude from Attack on Titan.
I am so glad I did. I almost went with Attack on Titan this week.
Guy. Well, let me see. Get my mouse there. All right, there. This guy. Then we got bob hair girl, bearded dude, Ken, in the back. Oh, goddamn. So we got Ken in the backdrop. Bison over here. So what did they do? I see some trench coats, so they're detectives. Or PIs, They do some stuff.
That showed your age.
And Tick Guy is like a deity that looks around, watching over these people, these detectives, and he gives them missions. And part of these missions is to basically save the Earth from global warming. because we're trash. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna give you a half right.
Okay.
Just saving us from something. That part I'm gonna give you. So, in an attempt to colonize Mars, so that's Mars in the middle.
Interesting.
21st century scientists are tasked with terraforming the planet. Their goal is to seed the planet with a modified algae to absorb sunlight and purify the atmosphere, and cockroaches whose corpses spread the algae across the planet as they feed. 500 years later, the first crew
is an insect.
He is. That's why I said half. Oh, you get that part too. It's just not he's not a black tick.
It looks like the black tick.
He does, and I can't unsee it now. But 500 years later, the first crew
with a vagina on his face.
first crude ship to Mars lands, and its 6 crew members are attacked by giant mutated humanoid cockroaches with incredible physical strength, later labeled Terraformers. The crew is wiped out after sending a warning back to Earth. 2 years later, Bugs 2, a multinational expedition of genetically modified humans, is sent to collect 10 samples of both sexes of roaches and exterminate the mutated bugs to take control of the red planet.
Sounds boring.
It is not. It is.
I'm not even gonna find out.
Like, me and shout out to my guy Bernard Oliver.
Bernard.
But we read this manga before it ever got an anime. Listen, when I tell you this is like Game of Thrones level of don't pick a favorite character, it's intense, and that's why I'm like, it's not boring in the least.
Does Ken die?
I can't remember. I haven't like watched it in forever, like, but or read it, because like I think I read to a certain point and I was like, eh. Like I still do without it, because the premise is really just it's so intense that it is too much. But Elon Musk would approve of this.
What?
I mean, he's trying to put hotels and stuff on Mars.
One
of them, Bezos, or one of them is trying to terraform it. And they probably watch this anime. So I ain't going. I'm not fighting no tall cockroaches. I don't like water bugs as is, because they can fly.
They believe they can fly. See what I did there?
I saw what you did there, and yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm not making that reference again because he's canceled.
Listen, I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah. So that was a good guess, and like I said, you were half right, because you actually got that they were trying to save the world. It just, that world wasn't.
They're space detectives.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know.
Oh, and you heard me earlier when I was like, you were telling your age about their PIs. And in my mind, I'm like, I feel like the only reason you say PI is because of Magnum PI.
Interesting. No, that's because of the trench coats.
But yeah, the other thing I don't think they really explain, though, is that each of those, like, Ken Ryu Street Fighter characters, they're all, like, mutated or, like, have traits of different insects. That will like either fight cockroaches and or eat them. So
that's weird.
It's intense and weird. It's literally like Attack on Titan with roaches.
All right. Well, I need a break.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that.
Before we get to this next topic, I kind of want to make a comment. So I really like the warmer light in the bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Because it makes me feel like a McDonald's French fry.
What?
It's just toasty. It makes me feel, at the fast food restaurant.
No. I get what you're saying.
And they got the lights. And it keeps things warm.
No. I understand. What?
I just like that feeling.
You like fries.
No, I like that feeling.
You like fries.
Uh-huh.
But anyway.
So our final topic is
the changes in Black History Month.
gonna be an interesting one. I don't know what to say about
Like, so what I woke up thinking about when I was trying to put I had already put the topics together, but when I was kind of thinking about what it was, what does Black history currently mean to me? And it's so muddled because I don't know if I'm like becoming more cynical to things. I know that like, Netflix and YouTube and everywhere else has like these Black voices, and there's new shows and there's things that we're getting. But I feel like I've been beaten down in a certain way.
by
Just certain, I mean, it's just being Black. Like, so when February rolls around, like sometimes I can be that person that's like, okay, I want to talk about Black history every day. But then, you lose steam somewhere. I mean, technically you're Black every day.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm brown.
I cannot roll down a flight of stairs twice and get hit by a graveler. But like this or critical race theory, or what they consider critical race theory, like
The misperception of it.
yeah, the fact that we're getting to a point where we have to fight for history, like you still have Black History Month. Like I feel like ultimately February in terms of this month, like it's going to become more important on top of the fact that it's already important to try to talk about our history, because you're removing it from schools or trying to, and in some places succeeding, where you're not even talking about the history. Like there was a reminder to me, like I had
Talking
forgotten.
about the people and the icons in the moment, but not talking about the struggles that folks went through.
Yeah.
Or why they went through those struggles and why we continue to go through those struggles, right? It's all in the past.
Yeah, and it's like it's not that far away. Like I continuously have these revelations of, what time we actually live in and how long things have been. Like if the lifespan of your grandmother is not long enough to get away from sharecropping, like
Right.
segregation, then it's not as far as what you think it is. If you still have somebody that you can talk to, then that means there's still someone who has traumas of things that happened to them. Like either traumas that have been passed down, traumas that you see and are still upset by, that a lot of people don't understand. And I don't know. I think this is like the first Black History Month that I've just been discouraged. And I don't know if it's amplified because of pandemic stuff, but there are so many different changes that seem like they're not as helpful. And I think this is like the first time where I've seen like there were so many people who thought or say this, segregation was detrimental. And on the same hand, I feel like all of these like especially after what the Black Lives Matter movement and all of these different companies who are literally putting POCs on their marketing that we've never seen in their company. You have.
Oh, you mean like iTunes today?
Don't.
And all the podcasts that are hosted by Black folks?
Yeah.
Like us?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden are marketing for using Apple Podcasts?
Yeah. It's like,
look how woke we are.
That you have, even that, I hate that. I hate that terminology.
Virtue signaling, right?
It's, oh God, it's just gotten so bad that like I wanted to try and find a positive outline for this, because
there is a positive, right? There's a silver lining, right? That people are headed in the right direction. It's just sometimes the silver lining means that we have. I've heard this a lot. Sometimes it seems like we're overcorrecting because people want to be seen as good. They are now doing things that they think is good, but it's also like an overcorrection for the good that they believe that they're doing, and so therefore they folks just end up in a situation where, say, they're not doing it for the sake of change. They're not having the hard conversations. They're making change on easy mode.
Yes.
So people are making change on easy mode because it's easy to wear a T-shirt that says Black Lives Matter. It's easy to march down the street and go to a protest. Doesn't mean it's not scary, but it is easy. It is hard to have a conversation with your grandpa or the uncle or the sibling or anybody about how biased their actions or words are. And because we don't want to have these quote unquote arguments, then people get the scapegoat by wearing the T-shirt instead.
And I also think, and I've said this before, the difficult thing on top of just being black is that there's so many things that a black person has to bring through a door that they get through, an opportunity that they get, that representation for us is so needed.
Yeah.
But it's like so hard because you may want representation as a gamer or as an anime character. But instead of you getting that representation, what they do is you're a gamer, anime, LGBTQ.
So they start pulling in all the identities.
They just throw everything into
just
one
to compensate
person.
for it.
And that's because we haven't gotten the opportunity to have certain people represented. You know, like I was looking at a video that I think I ended up posting like years ago in my memories or whatever that was talking about black identification. And I think it's like the first thing we talked about. Yes, it's the first episode of our podcast as we talk about the levels of blackness or whatever it is. And initially what I see from the conversation is that we were trying to discuss representation and how we don't identify as certain with certain stereotypes. Like, yeah, we know of them, but like we would like representation of how we are in media or whatever the case may be. I think the best representations are probably like, to me, between Blackish and like Insecure, in terms of like us on the screen, different types of people, different types of ways that we exist. And I want more people to do that. I want more people to, you know, state their truths. And I just want more opportunities of like, if a person does a show and it's just about black gamers, like I feel like we feel offended and it's like, well, that doesn't represent all gamers.
Yeah. But also, like, I want us to stop. So I want us to. Man, I just lost the thought that I had because it was super. It was concise, what I wanted to say. I just want us to get on the same page,
Right.
ultimately, and work on our own. I want us to stop asking for permission. That's what I was going to say. I want us to stop asking for permission to go make stuff that represents us. I want us to stop asking for permission to go handle our finances. Like, I want us to stop asking for permission to build a business, and I want us to stop being so critical of each other for starting where we are.
Right.
And does that mean that you need to go sacrifice does that mean that you need to go patron your brothers and sisters and feel like you had poor quality service. No, that's not what it means. It means that you need to provide them with feedback so they can get better, though, right? If you pay for something and it's us doing the service for each other and you're not satisfied, it's okay to speak up about that. And if they get defensive about it and say blah 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 blah, right? Let them have that. 9 times out of 10 people listen to that even though they get defensive, right? And they go and fix it anyway.
But then that's also tied into us being patrons for each other, more of us, not just like, because a lot of the times, like, say, you know, you have your YouTube, you didn't get to 11,000 just off of us.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that 60 friends, so there's no person that can like feel like you got to be like, okay, entitled to. The thing that's like terrible about it and why we need more patrons is the reason people end up getting defensive is most times is because it's coming from somebody who, like, you were there with me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's harder to see that from the perspective because so many people that are close to you can be negative about, like you said, instead of giving them positive and they're being defensive, they're defensive because so many people do not actually know how to speak positively about, like, because a critique, whether there is no negative connotation or should not be always negative connotation to a critique.
Yeah. And so I think one aspect of it is that this is a separate statement from what I'm about to say, but like, we gotta be willing to pay full price to folks that do this, right? We can't walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, can you do me can you make me some music for less than what you would charge everybody else?" Like, just because it's a homie hookup, right? Like that's just not okay for us to continue to do to each other, and because that's not okay, the overarching theme is we have to kind of look at ourselves and see what like it's important to point out that there is still a lot of racism, still a lot of bias in systemic things and social things that just hold us back. But it's also important to recognize that, again, we don't need to ask for permission. We can build things on our own to be similar to the 60s and 70s and maybe even, decades before, where we had to do it for ourselves. We had to own our own things. And before our own economy started crumbling in some ways, we had ways to prop that up.
The craziest thing I think about us, and I heard this the other day, and I forget where I heard it from, but it's like, while we may be 13% of the population, we are like 70 to 80% of the culture.
Yeah, we're a big part of the culture, and right,
of like,
that means that we got to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah,
that means
like
that we got to take ownership of it.
Yes,
it means that we need to keep it close to us and make it thrive. It's not. I don't think it's good enough to say, "Oh, these few folks made it. Congratulations to them," and then they go off. Now, I think it's important to let people make their own choices once they get successful. But still, there should be we should be incubating enough people to where if somebody goes off and does their own thing and takes money outside of the culture, we still have a hotbed of people to keep growing.
Yeah, we need more. Like, there can be more than one Madam C.J. Walker.
Correct, right? And we all have the skills and the talent to do so. We just need to recognize that school isn't going to reinforce that, right? Because it's not built for us.
Nope.
We realize that our society is not going to do that because it's not built for us. And so what we start doing is start having conversations. We start building entities and businesses, or we start managing our, like, if we can get our financial health together, we could start to like keep revenue to ourselves in order to invest in ourselves.
Bro, like, again, 13% and our buying power is strong.
Trillions.
Like, it's literally what drives so many different things in terms of the economy and everything else at 13%. So to have that, that means that there's a lot of wealth that's on the table that just needs to be redirected and organized.
Yeah.
To bring that back.
Yeah, we just got to stop. We got to stop exporting.
Yep.
And work on. Well, yeah, we got to start exporting our wealth, and work on what and importing other things from outside, and try to flip that around, right?
Because
export in order to be the so we have an export import imbalance.
Because the thing is, people have kind of, and I think about this all the time when people like have the reparations conversations and stuff, and why it seems to trigger people so much. I think it's more so because people realize that that's a hefty cost.
Yeah, people don't think that's plausible.
Because it's like they feel way, like when you think about slavery, you think about all these other things, when you think about all of these different situations where other cultures were given reparations, other cultures were helped out. Like so many people are like, well, that wasn't your back or whatever the nation. But I'm like, okay, so we all go to restaurants. We have people cook for you all the time. Food's good, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, like your enjoyment of that food did come from somebody else. You paid them for that service. You paid them for that experience. Like if you went somewhere and somebody did not pay you for like everything that you were so much so that they created the prison systems, they created cops, they created all of these different things to further not pay you because they were missing these millions of dollars. The fact that, the French, and I cannot think of the island, but the fact that, they were able to go in and make them pay them for the loss of slavery.
Well, I think what people get messed up or mixed up is, all right, so I wasn't there for that. So I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't a part of that. So now I don't have to think about this. But the reality is things do trickle down. Things do follow generations. And the best example of that is, say, you have parents, right? So what did your parents do or not do that now affects you today? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do or not do that will affect your children? Mm-hmm. And those things continue to trickle generation to generation. And those lasting effects are the effects that we are ignoring on both sides, right? So on our side, we're ignoring a lot of our pain and trauma and things of that nature. And on the other side, they're ignoring the side effects, the karma of all the things that were done incorrectly. They're also ignoring the fact that racism doesn't really die with the people that are racist. They pass down those ideas to other people. And new people are born, and those ideas get transplanted into new people. And it's as if the 60 years can now turn into 160 years, or whatever multiplier effect of like the average age, right? It can turn into 120 years.
Yeah.
Of the same ideas passing down over and over again. So we're not past anything. We're better at recognizing it, but people don't realize that some of their belief systems are ingrained in racism. Some of their political ideas are ingrained in racism. Some of their social habits are ingrained in racism, and we all need to work on cleansing a lot of those things.
Yeah, like if we're at a point to where majority of America is pushing that I should recognize what you identify as a child, but you still will not recognize that my identity as a black person does not make me inherently bad, and you're still feeling like, well, I didn't do that, like, we have a problem. Like, people are readily able for a 6, 7 year old or 5 year old to say, I am this, like, or more readily able. I'm going to say there are still people who are like rejecting the premise or whatever, but it's an easier concept to be explained because they'll talk about, brain development and at this age, you're able to actually do this, who you are, so on and so forth. And still don't want to say the generational wealth that you have was built off the backs of people who never got any of it.
Because it's not just relegated to the 13%, right? You see what I'm saying? So like, if the reason why it's easy for us to stay in that or accept other ideals, identity being one of those, is because identity is more than just 13% of the population.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody wants to have their identity accepted, but not everybody is black, and that's there's still a scale and an imbalance to where people.
True. I just want people to take more ownership of the fact that there's too much separation in the fact that, yes, that is something that everybody can agree on. But it's like, if you can get to this point, you should, like, the fact that you're able to get to this point, whether it's everybody or not, whether it's, single to 13 or not, you should also be able to do that with these other issues, because the identity stuff does not affect you. And also, me being black should not affect you.
Yeah. Well,
I
think on an individual basis, like people that have a hard time with one usually have a hard time with the other one too.
True.
So
True.
That segment of the population hasn't really changed much.
Well, here's to hoping that, Black History Month continues to grow relevancy. I mean, I don't want it to be under the circumstance of it's the only place that the person who isn't getting taught stuff about their blackness learns about blackness. But, here's to it being better.
Hopefully. So we appreciate everybody watching, listening. Please do subscribe, like this video if you enjoy it, and be sure to check out more episodes of No Rhyme or Reason podcast.
'Cause it's lit. And we'll see you guys next week. A 1 and a 2 and a peace.